3 months later, the same officer is confronted by a woman who says she's been raped. He decides to consult a senior officer on what to do before leaving the scene.
What happened with that rape the other night?
Oh, it was supposedly genuine, wasn't it? Because last I heard it was, and then a load of others come forward describing the same bloke and the same MO.
One thought to us while we were there. We spoke to her. Yeah. Just tell her that if she wants to report it, she reports it sort of next week when she's ready. Because take this sort of thing with a pinch of salt.
Who said that?
Like he says, in my experience, they'll come forward and take each other out.
The officer who raises that comment was the first officer at the scene of a prostitute rape, and when he was relaying the details to his senior officer, it was then that take it as a pinch of salt, meaning it's a prostitute, they do this all the time, it might not be genuine. If a young officer is getting that sort of instruction off a senior officer, what chance have we ever got of changing the attitude of particularly men in the police force to how they deal with a rape, be it a prostitute rape, domestic rape or a stranger rape? They're all rapes.
Less than 4% of rapes reported in Leicestershire are solved. 12 of the country's 43 police forces have a worse record. One night at the station, Nina uncovered the story behind just one of the people who make up those statistics. A colleague is upset at the failure to send a scene of crime officer, known by the acronym SOCO, to visit an alleged rape victim.
I'm absolutely appalled.
But she's rung you tonight?
She's ringing me every day. I've got messages. I've got messages yesterday, I've got messages today. She's ringing me today. There's a towel to be seized. They didn't even send SOCO round. SOCO wasn't sent round. It might have happened on Tuesday. So what? There's still forensic evidence there on the settee.
SOCO still hasn't been round?
They haven't sent SOCO round. They haven't requested SOCO.
I find that quite startling. In a case as serious as that there's been a delay in sending a scenes of crime officer around who are called SOCO officers. Evidence such as that should be gathered as early as possible. I can't stress that enough.
Home Office figures show that the overall detection rate for all crime rises from 24% to 38% where DNA is recovered from a crime scene. In rape cases, it can make an even bigger difference.
Here we see that potential evidence was not even gathered, let alone analysed. And I'm not just surprised that didn't happen, but also that there was no supervisor who picked it up and said, why hasn't this happened? Theoretically, every rape case is supposed to be supervised by a senior investigative officer. So we have a failure at the investigative level and a failure at the supervision level.
And they wonder why I fucking...
The PC talking to Nina doesn't think that the poor handling of this rape case is an isolated incident.
I've gone through rapes, Nina, where I haven't spoken to anyone. When it's just happened. Then I've got silly bitches like saying domestic rapes, petty rape and all this, that and the other. I think she should be able to fucking
Who's that?
I dealt with one off the... they wouldn't send anyone to deal with ours. I went over to deal with one of theirs, and it was horrific. This woman had gone through 6 months of being raped every weekend by her husband who just burst into the door. And we went there and she turned around to me and said, oh, domestic rape should be dealt with as petty rape. You stupid bitch.
Who is she?
I mean, this is almost reminiscent of the bad old days that we saw back in the 1970s, I think it was, with Thames Valley Police, where people were actually dismissing and not dealing with rape cases in the way they should be. And it's very difficult to see any justification whatsoever for anybody taking an allegation of what they call domestic rape any less seriously than any other allegation of rape.
It was like that when I was doing it.
What are we playing at? You've been in 12 years, for fuck's sake. Things should have changed after 12 years of bloody... What are we?
I know.
I've just said, if I'm ever raped, then fucking hell, I'm not reporting it to the police.
I know.
I'd rather do myself in, because the help you get from these people are just ridiculous.
Things like rape, you still hear police officers saying she asked for it, she had a short skirt on. And I thought we might have moved on, but we quite clearly haven't from that.
Coming up, at a time when the government wants value for money from the police, Nina is surprised by some of the late-night antics on duty. And she finds a novel use for squad cars.
I haven't played hide and seek in a police car before.
Nina Hobson is a police officer with over 11 years' experience. For 4 months, she worked as a dispatches reporter and filmed officers working in Leicester city centre. Sexist attitudes she hoped had died, she found alive and kicking. Even the police themselves are disgusted at the way their organisation can treat a rape victim. The 290,000 people who live in Leicester each pay around 30p a day for the police. It's an expensive service to run. Nina's keen to find out if those taxpayers are getting their money's worth.
The sergeant's told us to go and get a Chinese tonight for the shift. The probationer goes because he's a probationer, and I go because I'm new. When we get there, we park on double yellow lines.
Are we allowed to park here?
It's got police written on it.